Today we're going to talk about the other Alabama hills. Let's forget what you think you know about this place, because you don't know about this place in the way we're going to explore it. This is Alabama Hills, and Alabama Hills is a fascinating place with so many unknown hidden gems below the surface. And I'm talking not necessarily about locations as much as locations and history and geology and all of these really fascinating things that I'm going to share with you that you probably don't really know about. Let's start with the thing that was the biggest surprise to me as I dug into this area. Alabama Hills is a really weathered area. It's granite. It has probably been above ground here for 30 million years. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of really beautiful granite shapes. They're kind of rounded with beautiful colors and deep cracks, and it gives it almost an otherworldly landscape. What I didn't realize is the granite here, it is the same granite that is up above us there in the Mount Whitney area of the Sierra Nevada. You see, all of this granite, it was formed sometime like 85 to 200 million years ago. What happened is this area, this granite, probably came to the surface about 30 million years sooner than the Sierra Nevada, which is about 10 million years old. And as a result, those 20 million years, well, it had a definite impact on this granite, and we get these incredibly beautiful shapes all around us. The other thing that is absolutely totally cool, and I was not prepared for it, was that you can go from the town of Lone Pine, which I believe is around 4,200 feet above sea level, and you can take a drive about 20-25 minutes up the Whitney Portal Drive all the way up the mountain, and you get to the trailhead for those people who want to climb Mount Whitney. Now, you can also camp up there, but the cool thing about it is you go from this level here where I am in this kind of landscape, and you get into a high Sierra landscape. You get into kind of water still in rivers from the glacial melt, and a totally different kind of tree and a totally different kind of granite. If you come, I really encourage you to do the drive. If you do make it to the top, wander around a little bit and definitely check out kind of the high alpine ecosystem that you're in, because it is really a treat being that these places are so close together.
All right, so I got to tell you, this shot that you're looking at right now, I set the camera up and it's kind of windy and I'm driving away, and lo and behold, you know what happened? So one of the things you're not going to see in this video is Mobius Arch, and the reason you're not going to see it is the parking lot's right over there, and it is full of cars and people hiking. Where I am, this dirt road, there is no one around, and I go over that way just a little bit on this dirt road. I'm all alone, and I'm in the middle of these absolutely incredible geologic formations, kind of the rocks that make Alabama Hills so unique and special.
Let's talk a little bit about the earthquake that happened here in 1872. It's estimated at somewhere between 7.2 and 7.9 on the Richter scale, and it was felt as far away as Los Angeles and Sacramento, California. It was a big earthquake. It devastated the town of Lone Pine, and I believe it was 24 people who lost their life. I went out to the graveyard from 1872, and there's one section of the graveyard, I guess, where the people who could afford it had individual plots that they were kind of interned in. And then there is a larger area there, and apparently that's a mass grave where 16 of those people who maybe didn't have as much money, they were all buried together in 1872. I may be a little odd because I do like to go and find places where the original settlers were buried. I don't know what it is, but there's something about being amongst those people that connects me to the area and makes this place a little bit more real. I think I'm looking every bit of my 61 years here today. Okay, I don't know about you, but when I first started searching Alabama hills, it kind of took me to a different place of the country. And the story goes that this area was named by some miners who were preferential to the southern states during the Civil War. There was a Confederate ship, I believe it was called the Alabama, and that's what this area was named for. And then at some point the Alabama got sunk, and those people who were fans of the North tried to rename the area, but those old miner types who were pulling for the South, they would have none of it. So here we are in Alabama Hills, nowhere near Alabama. So before the white man came, this area, it was inhabited by the Paiute and the Shoshone Native Americans, and they would do some hunting here because apparently game gathered. If you remember, before LA took all the water from the Owens Valley over there, this was probably a pretty fertile and verdant area where there were a lot of plants that they could forage, and the wildlife probably came down from the mountains, the Sierra, and they gathered here at the Owens Lake, the edge of Owens Lake. There are petroglyphs around. They don't publicize where they are. I hate to say it, but probably for good reason. I kind of stumbled around this place a good bit, and I did not see any of the petroglyphs. But when you're here, if you kind of get off the beaten track a little bit, see if you can find a petroglyph. Maybe it could be a big surprise for you. You know, the movie making business is a business. And one of the reasons this area was so great for movie making is the proximity to Los Angeles and the home of the film industry. It was really easy to get a film company out here, to put them up, to kind of make the movies that they wanted to make and get back home. So as much as a varied kind of landscape, which it definitely is, there was also a really strong economic reason that they made so many movies here. So if you're interested in coming to visit Alabama Hills, I would say that late fall and early spring are probably going to be really good times to come. You're going to want to plan ahead. Even the boondocking or the dispersed camping was completely full. I stayed at the Lone Pine Campground. I was in Site 32, for what it's worth, and it was a really nice site, kind of secluded with great views of the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I stayed in my van. I was there for 2 nights, which allowed me plenty of time to explore this area. And that particular campground, it sits below the peaks that rise above you, and it's really just a beautiful place to kind of come at the end of a day and relax and kind of spread out. The van itself, it's the first time I've used the heater in it because it got down to, I believe, about 37 degrees at night. And I got up for sunrise one day, and man, it was cold, but it was well worth kind of seeing the light and the terrain at that time of day. It was actually spectacular. Now, one other thing that I did not know, and I learned, is this apparently is a really popular area for bouldering and climbing down here. There are behind me and just to the right of me, there are some climbers that I did not expect to see. And it's a Saturday, and the weather is a little bit breezy, but absolutely beautiful. And so there are people in the area and people who come here to climb and to really enjoy kind of the granite and the cracks and the roots that they can find in this beautiful, beautiful landscape. I'm going to do this because my wife hates it. If you could see your way to buy a hat or a shirt or a mug or something from my store, I will make a couple of bucks. And if I can make a couple of bucks, I can get out on more of these trips and make more of these videos, which I really love to do. So consider it.